Okay, guys, let's take a look at our homework for Monday, April 5th. So we're still working with volume, even though we're getting ready to move on in class. We get the last couple of days of volume practice for homework. So pause and take a look at number 1 and get your answer. Pause the video. Okay, so the trick with number 1 is they say Michael packed a box full of 1-foot cubes. The box held 54 cubes. Which one of these could have been his box? There's no trick to this one. You've just got to solve each one of these boxes and find the one that equals 54. There's only one. So you just go through and solve for your volume, which is length times width times height. And just do each one of those till you find the one that is equal to 54. I'm not going to give you the answer. You have to do it yourself. But if you're listening to me, I'll tell you that it's not C and D. It's not C or D. It's A or B. Okay. Take a look at number 2 and pause the video. Oops, you can't see that. Take a look at number 2. So this is saying the area of the base. So remember, area equals your length times your width. So you already know the length and the width equals 30. And then it says it's 5 inches tall, which is the height. So you would just take your length and width, which is 30 times the height. And you should be able to do the rest of that one to get the answer. It's A. Don't let the words confuse you, right? You've got to know that when they say the area of the base, they're already giving you the length and the width because that's the area, right? Okay, pause the video and do number 3. Okay, number 3, they're just flipping it around on you, right? They want you to find the height. Well, we know the whole volume is 300. And we know the base, the area of the base, that's the length and the width already, right? So you know the length and the width together is 25. So you would have to take the 25 and divide it into the 30 to find out what the height is that you multiplied by, right? So 25 divided into the 300. I think I might have just said 30. I mean 300. So you need to find out how many times 25 goes into 300. And if you look at those choices over here, how many times 25 fits into 300? Well, it can't be 325 because that's too big. 7,500 makes no sense. That's the answer if you multiply it because you're not paying attention to what the question's asking. And then 275 would be if you subtract it. You need to know to find the height, you need to take that length and width and divide it into the whole number there, right? The 300. All right. Take a look and pause me and do number 4. She wants the greatest volume. There's no trick to this question. You have to multiply each one of those and find the one that has the biggest volume. There's no trick. You have to do the work. So, for example, number 4, let's see. 10 times 7 is 70, times 4 equals 280. 8 times 5 is 40, times 5 is 200. 12 times 5 is 300. 14 times 2 is 28, times 10 is 280. So you want to pick the one that's the biggest. There's no trick for the FSA or for our test. You just have to do the problems. All right, take a look at number 5. Okay, so they're giving us the answer of 20, right? And they're telling the cabinet is 4 by 1. So that is your length and width is 4 and 1. We need to find the height. How tall the height is our question mark and equals 20. So you would multiply this out and get 4, take that 4 and put it into the 20 by dividing, and you should get your answer. All right, take a second and look at number 6. Pause the video. Okay, number 6 is just your classic formula, right? How much soil would she need to fill the whole thing? She wants to replace the soil. How much would she need to fill it, right? Well, it's volume equals length times width times height. So it's 32 long times 14 wide times 2 high. That one's just straight up formula. So you know when you're multiplying 32 times 14, that probably eliminates this one, right? So now you just have a couple choices left. I mean, these answers in the 400s are probably pretty small because look, if you rounded this or did an estimate, 30 times 10 is at least 300, right? Times at this 2 that's left, your answer's got to be at least 600 based on the estimates, right? So these two wouldn't make sense. But you can also just do the math, right? But if you use a quick estimate, a lot of times with these tests on the questions, you'll save yourself time just by looking. Like if we round this to 30 and this to 10, we made both of those much smaller, right? 32 times 14 is much bigger than 30 times 10, right? And we know minimum the answer has to be 600. And only one of the choices is even close to being over 600. All right, take a second and look at number 7. Pause the video and solve it yourself. Okay, number 7, they're giving us, let's see, volume equals length times width times height. They're giving us the volume. Now they're giving us the area. That's the length and the width together, right? We know is 95. And we got to find where's the actual question here? The building has a volume of, the area of the base of the building is 9 feet. They didn't really ask you the question, but that's kind of a bad question. They didn't ask what the question is. But I can tell you they want you to find the height, right? So you're going to have to take that 95 and put it into the 1520 to find out what the height is. Now, where this will trick you is it gives you the area of the base. You have to know the base is the length times the width is that area, right? We didn't do area problems. You do those in 4th grade. This is background knowledge, right, that you have to know. So when you divide those, that into itself there, you know, here's another estimate. If you take, this is about 100, and this is about 1,500. So if you cross out your zeros, your answer's got to be like in the ballpark of 15. So that would make 4 and 8 not work, right? 16 and 20, kind of close. You may want to do the math, but it comes out to 16 for that one. So just some quick ways to check yourself that I'm showing you for your tests, right? You don't always have to do the work with these multiple choice. Now, if this said 16 and this choice was 17 and this one was 15, then you pretty much got to do the work, right? But if you can eliminate 2 of the choices, it makes it much easier on the test, right? All right, pause and do number 8. So again, they're giving us the volume is 36. If the width is 4 and the height is 3, we want to know what the length is. 4 times 3 is 12. So you would then want to find out what this L equals. So you would take this 12 and put it into the 36 and see what you have left over. So immediately this 12 wouldn't make sense, right? Because 12 doesn't go into 36 12 times. But now here's where you have to do the actual math. See, one of these is the right answer, 3, 4, and 5, right? So you really got to take your time and make sure that you put the 12 into the 36 correctly. And you guys should know if you skip count 12 is 12, 24, 36, 3 times, right? All right, take a look at number 9. Okay, so Henry's building an aquarium. The length, I always like to put my formula in here just because it kind of helps me. The length is 4. The width is 3 and the height is 5. What's the volume? This one's not. I was waiting for the trick in this one. Not really hard at all, right? That's just straight up using your formula. There's really no trick there. 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 equals 60. So your answer would be C. Oh, I thought they were going to try to do something crazy in that one, but that one was the simplest one. All right, last one. Take a second and do number 10. Okay, so now they just added in another step to this to try to confuse you, but I don't really think it's that confusing. So they're telling you the volume of a closed box and they're giving you the dimensions, right? So the volume is the answer to this right here. So 2 times 1 is 2, times 2 is 4. So the volume equals 4. The only real trick here is they're telling you there's 15 boxes that have a volume of 4. So what is the total volume of all the boxes? Well, that would just be, right? Not really any tricks there, right? Now, if you want your test taking trick, right when you go 5 times 4, you know there's going to be a 0 in the ones place. And only one of these has a 0 in the ones place. But you could go through and do the rest. Now, I don't want you to use these tricks to like stop doing problems and make silly mistakes. But right when you know it's the 5 and the 4, you know there's going to be a 0 in the ones place. All right, guys, take those answers and enter them into Canvas, and we will see you tomorrow.